Hey guys, this is Isaiah from YourHead Software. Today we're talking about Stacks 4 and the 5 new features we've put into it. This is feature number 3 and it's all about text editing. Let's have a look. So I have here a Stacks page and it's got a bunch of text stacks on it. And we're just going to edit some and see what happens. So just like in Stacks 3, you double click to edit. But now you get this nice text edit pane. And the text edit pane has a bunch of the text edit control buttons built into it. And the reason we did that is, number one, because it just takes up less space on the screen. When you're not editing text, you don't have to look at those buttons. So if you have a smaller monitor, that might be a really nice to have. The second reason is a little bit more pragmatic though. When you're editing something that's not plain text, like this Markdown stack, the buttons contextually know that you're editing Markdown, and they're a little bit different. So in this case, if we select a run of text and we click bold, they automatically inject the bold Markdown. And if we click inside of a run of bold, the bold button highlights, and if we click it, the text in that run auto-selects, the Markdown is removed, and well, it does the right thing, for Markdown or for the context that you're working in. So those are some of the ways that the text edit pane helps you out. But there is one new feature in here, along with all the other buttons. And it's for cases like this. So we have here a text stack that has a dark background. And it has some light text on it, this lemon yellow title. And when we go to edit that text, you may have noticed it just wasn't readable. You can sort of select it and kind of see it, but yeah. In the past, the only way to edit this text would be to select it and change the color temporarily, edit the text, and then change it back. But, that could be a real pain. So we added this contrast button in, and it allows you to quickly swap the background color to a dark color. This also looks pretty good if you're working in dark mode and you like to edit text on a dark background. You can just keep it this way. The preference will stick. And there's one more little change that we made. This isn't a new feature, actually. If you're editing some text, normally you would click OK for those changes to go into your document. You could also just click anywhere else. Now, these OK and cancel buttons, they've always existed, but they used to be up here in the toolbar. And a lot of people didn't realize that they were associated with the text editing that you were doing. So we've put them down where people are used to them, in the bottom corner of a modal box. And that way, if you edit some text and you make a mistake and you just want to go back to where you were, you can just click the X button. And it'll jump back to whatever you had there before. Now, the last little feature that we added to text editing was suggested by a customer. He had been editing a layout that had lots of narrow columns and was having a lot of trouble editing those columns. Now, in the past, you could make a partial and kind of break those columns out into somewhere else, but, it was a lot of work. But what we did now is we made the text edit pane have a nice size, even when you're editing a narrow column. So it'll overflow that column into the adjacent areas. And no matter how small the column gets, it'll always be at least this size. If you're editing text near the edge of your layout, it won't overflow your toolbars either. So it knows and respects the boundary of the layout area. So that's a quick little look at text editing in Stacks 4. We have a new text edit pane. It has a nice size. It has new toolbars that are contextual. And it has a contrast button, which is, both a nice to have and has real practical application. So that's feature number 3. Make sure and check out feature number 4. That is resource images. It's a lot like having warehouse images built in. You'll dig it. Feature number 5, make sure and catch that one. That's extensions. That's externals. And externals are the big new feature in Stacks 4. Thanks for watching.